Hi, everybody. I haven't made a video in a while. Truth is, I just haven't kind of felt like I had anything to really speak to. This FTX thing that was the last topic I was kind of covering on this channel is going to play out over months or years. The steps of justice are slow, but heavy, you might say. So, I've kind of taken a backseat to just seeing how SBF pleads, and I think he's pleading not guilty, so there will be a trial. Um, and we'll see how that goes. But I have a topic I wanted to speak to in this video because I've found myself having a similar conversation recently, just in my life. I go to the sauna regularly at Juniper, the local swim club. See how I'm wearing the beanie that my wife made me because my hair is not looking good. So we're gonna rock the beanie. It used to say Tria because that was our brand because of my last name, our last name, but it's broken away. But I love this beanie for skiing and stuff. It's super warm. Um, anyway, it's been interesting to me because I've had a similar conversation in my personal life with several different people. And it's a topic that I've thought on for a long time. And I'm going to see how to craft the title of this video to kind of speak to the idea. Um, but in short, there's a timeless battle between the open-minded and the ideologues, the ideological, the ideologically possessed. And what does that mean? And what's the relevance of that? And how am I seeing that in today's world, or in my little sphere, you might say, that makes it relevant to speak to right now? So I'm a video gamer. I love video games. I've loved video games since I was a little kid. Uh, I find a great deal of peace of mind, entertainment, relaxation. Uh, some people like puzzles or word games. My dad does, for example, crosswords, that kind of thing. I like video games. He does too, to be fair, but I do specifically. And I've gotten into the Soulsborne games. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Recently, so I beat Sekiro, beat Elden Ring, and I'm playing Dark Souls 1 right now. I'm on Xbox. But anyway, what does that have to do with anything? We all are faced with the same set of rules in this life. We're born, stupid shit happens to us throughout our lives, invariably. Injustices, if you like. No matter how privileged you might think a person is, everybody has to face injustice in some form or another. And then we die. Those are the rules. Them's the rules. I don't care who you are or where you're from, those are the rules. And we all have to face that with whatever degree of grace we can muster. Okay, so uh that's just how it is, right? Life's tough, and then we die. Okay, so why am I bringing this up, and why did I throw in the fact that I'm a video gamer? Okay, one of the most popular franchises of all time in today's world is the Harry Potter franchise by J.K. Rowling. The other, I think, franchises in the running for most successful of all time are like Pokemon, Star Wars, etc. Insert other major franchises here. A video game just came out with the Harry Potter IP called Hogwarts Legacy. I don't have it. I haven't played it, but it's been embroiled in a controversy right now, and has been for some time. J.K. Rowling is active on Twitter. I am not, so I can't speak to exactly what she said, but through whatever she said, and my understanding from hearing little blurbs about it, but don't take it from me. You can read her tweets yourself. She evoked the ire, the vitriol, the vengeance of the kind of radical feminists, the new wave feminists, the social justice warrior kind of hardcore left, and the the groups of these, self-identified social justice warriors and hardcore leftists and feminists and so forth. I don't want to speak for these people, but this is my understanding. Have labeled J.K. Rowling interestingly enough, I think, most successful, richest author of all time. Could be wrong, but she's in the running. I heard that recently. As a TERF, they call her, a trans exclusionary radical feminist. So she's been branded as an enemy of the woke, as somebody who is quote unquote transphobic. So she kind of made a line in the sand, is what I understand, to exclude biological men who have transitioned to become identifying as female from being classified in her, worldview as female. A reasonable assertion, if you ask me, but I'm not involved in this debate. And it has brought her a set of enemies. Now, these enemies have tried to cancel, boycott, shame others into boycotting as well, Hogwarts Legacy. I've found this to be fascinating. A lot of the streamers that I follow have been covering this story. This is a very real thing. People are being attacked by the woke mob online, attacked, but people are being shamed and having their reputations attacked online because of this game, because of the idea. And I can't tell you how wrong this idea is, that by buying a video game, one, let's say, is complicit in the beliefs of J.K. Rowling, the author of the original IP. It would be like asserting that anybody that's ever bought a Volkswagen is somehow complicit in the goings on of Nazi Germany. It's a non sequitur. It's a broken logic chain. The idea that affiliation is association. Maybe that's not the right way to say it. How should I say that? To buy a person or company's product is to sign off on and hold the banner for every doing of that person or company. And we'd all be in trouble if that was the case, because nobody likes to think about child labor or the atrocities of the labor market in the third world that produces our iPhones and Nike shoes. But we still buy iPhones and Nike shoes. You might say, oh, well, I don't. Well, good for you. But there's certainly products that you are a patron of that have been produced by less than ideal, less than altruistic, less than highly moral means. But are you to be blamed for that? No, it's the world we live in, right? We live in a complicated world. Again, there's injustice everywhere. But now I'm hearing more and more this idea that is often pushed, almost exclusively pushed by ideologues, that affiliation is identity. So you're a TERF if you say this or that. You're a racist or a homophobe or a transphobe or a sexist or a this or a that. And to that I say this, and this is the thrust of this video, and I'm sorry I'm so long-winded, but this is the point that I wanted to get across. In my opinion, Devin Triantos' opinion, one individual, and I'm only speaking for myself, the only way to go through life righteously, and I know that's a big setup, but hear me out, is to be open-minded, is to say, I'm not a this or I'm a that. I'm a me. I'm a person. I'm a seat of consciousness. I'm a exploratory process in the moment, trying to make sense of the sensory input coming into my awareness, moving into the future. Now, why is that so obscure or obtuse in the way that I framed that? Because when you're dealing with an ideologue, all you need to do is have them identify themselves, or their group, let's say, and you already know everything that they think, everything they believe. Our politics are broken down in the same way in 2023, more so every day. You're either on the left or the right. And if you're on the left or the right, I can tell you what you think about guns, abortion, immigration, uh, you know, economics, company culture, taxes, all of these fascinating, deeply nuanced, uh, expansive topics that demand in their own right inspection and careful thought and investigation and sober reasoning to come to any kind of conclusions on. When you're an ideologue, when you're indoctrinated, when you are possessed by ideology, when you are a member of groupthink or hive mind, you have a set of beliefs, a thought pattern, an entire worldview that is given to you, that you subscribe to. Now, what's the wager in this? I think it's kind of a devil's wager. You're given safety in the group, you're given an identity, and you're given a way of seeing the world that potentially makes sense of that world for you. You have an in group, you have an out group. You're immediately oriented. The problem is you've wagered away, you've given up in that agreement, your personhood, your I-ness, yourself, the very consciousness that creates new understandings and awareness as you move through the world. And that's what it's all about. And I feel increasingly like I'm taking crazy pills when I deal with ideologues, but when I have these discussions in earnest in long form, which is why I think YouTube is so great and podcasts are the kind of the new daytime television. Nobody watches that shit anymore, is because people can get to the bottom of their thinking. You can find out who's an ideologue, who's a paper cutout of an individual, and you can find out who's thoughtful and who's willing to make a mistake based on the fact that they're speaking from their own experience, from what they believe to be true as a function of the trials and tribulations of their life specifically, not their group identity. So this idea that group identity is somehow primary, is somehow superior to individual identity, is one of the most dangerous and thick-skulled thoughts I've ever had to contend with. It's what creates things like racism and sexism and genocide and the atrocities of the 20th century in terms of Pol Pot's Cambodia and Mao's China and the Soviet Union under Stalin and Lenin and so forth. If you are just your group, if you're just a TERF, if you're just a cisgendered white male, if you're just a person of color, if you're just a bisexual or a transsexual or whatever you call yourself, if that's your identity, you're missing out on being a person. And so I challenge you, anybody that likes to watch these videos, and I appreciate your time, to just be yourself. It's way scarier. There's a lot more on the line. People can cut to the quick if they challenge you because now you don't have this group defending you. But there's a righteousness. There's a place to stand that is uniquely yours. And when you cultivate that place, something magical happens. And this is what I'll leave you with. There's a motif in myth and story. And again, I'll circle back to video games. It's not arbitrary that I like video games, and specifically I'm playing the Souls games right now. In timeless literature, and not the new wave, Disney remakes of traditional IPs, but classic literature, the Knights of the Round Table, the stories of the, swords and sorcery and magic and witches and wizards, dragons, sea monsters, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just all of the cultural myths across the world for generations. There are very simple motifs that exist across all of them, and they're not arbitrary. And that is this: the warrior with the dagger going into the darkest cave, or the deepest jungle, or the darkest part of the woods, or the explorer going into the depths of the abyss. It's this same motif. And what is that? It's being open-minded. It's going into the unknown. It's walking into a discussion or a debate or an interaction without a set behavior pattern or worldview lithified into being unchanging and focused on fighting the outgroup. It's accepting that the self is alone against the great unknown of the universe, but that through the exploratory process, through the becoming of the hero that you were always meant to be, you can kill the dragon, you can find the sword of Excalibur, you can find the Holy Grail, you can become more than you are. You can find the treasure that will revivify the you know the ailing nation, the ailing kingdom. Like, it is through being a person and being radically unprepared for the chaos of the unknown, but willingly stepping into it anyway, that allows you to be the hero of your own story. Um, this has kind of been a meandering speech, and let me know in the comments if you'd rather me talk on a specific topic with like a scripted presentation, because I could do that, but I kind of like just kind of verbally flowing. But anyway, I think that that's one of the most interesting things that I'm seeing right now, and I keep coming back to it, and that is the battle between honest individuals, intellectually, socially, sociologically, verbally, and idealogues. It's a lot easier to be an ideologue. It's just soul crushing and potentially destructive to all of society. So clearly there's a better way of going about it. And I think it takes courage. I think it's scary. I think it's a skill to develop, or a strength to develop, just like that takes reps. And it's what I want for myself and for all other people. And it's not something that I would ever impose on anybody, but it's something that I would challenge people in fairness to think about. And that is, are we facing each moment and each interaction and each situation with ourselves and others as the, courageous, albeit potentially unprepared hero with an open mind and a open heart? Or are we cutting off the possibilities in our lives by prescribing to group identity as opposed to individual identity? Uh, I think the virtue of the Western world in modern society was founded upon the primacy of individual identification, responsibility, and culpability. I'm only gonna, be in trouble if I do something wrong in the eyes of the law. I am not responsible for the goings on of people that look like me, or are externally identified superficially like me. We are all individuals. And I think that that's a very important place to try to get to as a society. And I hope we can. So, play Hogwarts Legacy if you want, be the hero of your own story. Don't subscribe to a set of beliefs unless they resonate with you. And, always be willing to learn. I certainly am. I appreciate you guys that watch these videos. I want to create more value for this channel. I'm still all about men's mental health, so I'm going to keep seeing what I can do in that effort. Thank you very much for watching. Love you guys.